The horsepower war is over. The handling war is on. Cars like the Audi RS5 Coupe and Sportback with the Competition Plus package and Porsche's stunning new GT3 RS, cars we've driven in just the past few weeks, suggest a paradigm shift is coming in the performance car business. In an era when modern EV technology means pretty much anyone these days can build a 2000 horsepower car that will launch so hard it'll shred your intestines on the way to an insanely low 0 to 60 time, developing internal combustion engines that pump out ever more power to deliver marginal improvements in acceleration times and top speed is increasingly a zero-sum game. But building a road car chassis with the hardware and software that allows enthusiastic and engaged drivers to be whole seconds faster around a racetrack than their rivals. That's a more complex skill set. Which perhaps explains this emerging focus from brands keen to polish their performance credentials on chassis tuning that delivers driving precision and driver exhilaration in equal measure. The 2023 Lamborghini Urus Performante, which is scheduled to arrive in the US before the end of the year and will be priced from $260,676, is the newest harbinger of this trend. Performance is more than straight-line speed. The Urus Performante's 4.0-litre twin-turbo V8 develops just 15 more horsepower than the regular Urus powerplant, and the same torque. The fact that it's 0.3 of a second faster to 60 miles per hour and 1.3 seconds quicker to 124 miles per hour than the regular Urus has more to do with its slight reduction in weight, better traction, faster and smoother gear shifts, and improved aerodynamics. The whole point of the Urus Performante is not how much quicker it is than the regular Urus in a straight line, it's how much quicker it is through the corners. The mission was to make this the best driver's car in the segment, Lamborghini Chief Technical Officer Reuven Moore said. And that was about how the car involves the driver in the driving experience. That's why Lamborghini spent most of the Urus Performante's engineering development budget on the chassis. The first step was to ditch the height-adjustable air suspension in the regular Urus in favor of steel springs and magnetorheological shocks whose compression and rebound rates could be made softer or firmer depending on which drive mode was selected. Why? In air suspension you have rubber and compressed air, so you have non-linearities in the way the suspension behaves, Moore explained. With steel springs, you always have predictable, linear behavior. And that means the shocks can be precisely tuned to enhance the superior body control the steel springs deliver, and the car can be fitted with tires that respond much more quickly to lateral inputs and loads. There are no race cars on the planet with air suspension because from the dynamic point of view, it's not the right choice, said Moore, who has a PhD in numerical mechanics, a delectable fleet of performance machinery in his personal garage, and who used to build and drive drift cars for fun. If you speak about the best interaction of the car with the driver from a sporty point of view, there is no way around steel suspension. The steel-sprung Urus Performante rides 0.8 inch lower than the air-suspended Urus in its default ride height setting, and its track has been widened by 0.6 inch. The active anti-roll system has been carried over from the standard Urus but has been tuned to take advantage of the greater precision of the steel spring suspension, as have the rear wheel steering and torque vectoring systems. The massive 17.3-inch front, 14.6-inch rear carbon ceramic brakes are unchanged, but the Urus Performante's standard 22-inch wheels can be fitted with a new, grippier high-performance Pirelli P0 Trofeo R tire, 285/40 up front and 325/35 at the rear, that's been specially developed for the car and is available as an option. Sharp-eyed enthusiasts will be able to spot the go-fast poseurs by the optional 23-inch wheels on their Urus Performance. Those dubs are not available with Trofeo R tires. As before, the 4.0-litre twin-turbo V8, which makes 656 horsepower at 6,000 revolutions per minute and 627 pounds-to-foot of torque from 2,300 revolutions per minute to 4,500 revolutions per minute, drives through an 8-speed automatic transmission. However, The transmission has been reprogrammed to be smoother and more responsive, especially in manual mode, and sends drive to all four wheels through a torsion center differential that's been set up to send more torque to the rear axle under acceleration. A meaner look. Lamborghini design chief Micha Borkert has given the Urus Performante a visual makeover, but it's not simply intended to make Sant'Agata Bolognese's scowling super SUV look even more like Darth Vader in a bad mood. A redesigned front bumper features a larger splitter and new intakes to improve cooling and help create an air curtain over the front wheels. Vents in the re-profiled hood help reduce air pressure in the engine compartment. The new rear bumper has vents behind the rear wheels and a new diffuser layout between the bazooka caliber quad exhausts, and a rear wing extends from the roof over the backlight. The new hood of the Urus Performante is made of carbon fiber, part of a weight reduction program that includes a titanium exhaust, lightweight interior trim, forged alloy wheels, and an optional carbon fiber roof. The Viper green shown here is the Urus Performante's hero color, though Lamborghini will paint one pretty much any shade you desire. The visible carbon fiber treatment on the hood is an option. Inside, black Alcantara with a new hexagonal stitching design on the seating is standard, with leather available as an option. Other options include the extension of the Performante trim on the doors, roof lining, and seat backrests, as well as matte carbon fiber and red door handles. New, dedicated Urus Performante graphics feature on both the central screen and the dash. What does it all add up to? Moore says the chassis hardware and software tweaks deliver a 5% improvement in both steering response and grip levels, the styling change is a 10% improvement in aerodynamic efficiency and 38% increase in rear axle downforce, and the lightweight components a 103-pound reduction in the overall mass. These may not sound like big numbers, but they add up to a Lamborghini Urus that indeed feels much more driver-focused, as we discovered on the fast yet technical 2.5-mile Autodromo Vallelunga, 20 miles north of Rome. On Vallelunga's slow to mid-speed corners, where the regular Urus requires some patience, preferring you to wash off speed before deliberately committing to the apex, the Urus Performante darts for apexes like a hungry shark, especially in Corsa mode, which dials up all the car's chassis drivetrain and systems to DEFCON 1 and dials back the interventions from the stability control system. Such is the rapid and concise turn-in response from the front end that it's hard to believe the Performante is built on the same engine forward, nose heavy VW Group architecture that also underpins Bentley's Bentayga. Want to tighten your line? Lift off the gas, and the big Lambo will obediently pivot, the tail's lateral acceleration easily caught with a touch of countersteer and throttle. Spotted your exit point? Punch the gas and feel the rear tires hook up and launch the car out of the corner. It might be big and tall and still weigh more than 4,700 pounds, but the Urus Performante feels almost as playful as an Impreza WRX through Vallelunga's twisties. Elsewhere, at higher speeds, the big Lamborghini stays flat and sticks hard, even as it storms through the compression in the middle of the daunting, fifth-gear right-hander called Curve Grand. The absence of roll, dive, squat, or diagonal pitch is utterly remarkable. We didn't get the chance to drive the Urus Performante on the rough-and-tumble roads around Vallelunga, but even on the track it's clear that in Corsa mode the suspension feels very tight, too tight, perhaps, for regular road work. Tooling back to the pits with the car set in the regular Strada mode suggests that, as in the regular Urus, the long wheelbase and wide track will calm primary ride motions, and the comfy, supportive seats will soak up most of the secondary ride jitters. New for the Urus Performante is Rally mode, which specifically sets up the chassis to enable the big Lambo to dance down a gravel road like a rally racer. Among other things, the damping and compression rates of the shocks are softened below those of the Strada setting to allow the Performante to move on its springs much more to help initiate cornering response and enhance traction on loose and rough surfaces. If you're used to pitching a Subaru Impreza sideways on gravel or snow, you'll notice a little extra movement from the rear of the Urus Performante that will rotate the car further than you perhaps wanted or needed. That's the rear wheel steering and torque vectoring at work. It's designed to help non-expert drivers who typically continue to turn into a corner when their car starts to slide rather than open the steering as they go to power, says Moore. If the car understands they want to initiate a drift, then they only need to be brave and push the throttle, he said. The rest is managed by the car. If you are a pro driver and you are trained to drift with cars without control systems, then you have to rethink a little bit. Few Urus Performante owners will ever dream of cosplaying Colin McRae down a forest track. But rally mode gives them bragging rights their buddies driving Aston Martin DBX 707S or the heavy hitter Porsche Cayennes don't have, dude. No rally mode in that thing. Seriously? How fast? That's up to you. Okay, rally mode is a bit of a gimmick, but it doesn't detract from the essential truth that defines the Urus Performante. It might only have a mere 15 more horses under the hood than the regular Urus, but it's up to 3.5 seconds a lap quicker around Vallelunga. About 1.5 seconds of that is down to the Trofeo R tires, says Moore. The rest is due to the chassis hardware and software improvements. Best of all, the driver is at the core of that performance differential. The Urus Performante's support technologies will help you out when needed, but the fundamental chassis setup allows drivers of all abilities to explore their own limits, and the limits of the car, with confidence. Sure, it'll take more effort to match a pro driver's time on a track than in a straight line, where, these days, equaling the factory 0 to 60 number requires little more than mashing the gas and holding on. But surely that's the whole point of driving. More power is not always more fun, Moore said. The Lamborghini Urus Performante proves the point. It only has a little more power than the regular Urus, but it's a whole lot more fun to drive.